डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Hello students, I am Parmar Falguni and I welcome you all at Chaitanya Studio, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University for Bbar paper code 302 Human Resource Management Block 1 Unit 1. It deals with Human Resource Management Introduction. So let us start now. So today the starting of this unit is with the learning objectives. So in this particularly unit we will be studying with the meaning of human resource management, with the evaluation that how the personal management has now translated its original evaluation from personal management to human resource management 1. Then we would be looking into the objectives and the features of human resource management. Later on, we will be seeing about the functions of human resource management, that how the human resource management practices in the organization and how it deal up with the current scenario to tackle out the dynamics changing environment, and how to deal with the change in human resources, the requirement of human resources, and etc. Then we will be looking out for the process of human resource management, that how actually the human resource management is taking place in any organization, what are the sequences, what are the steps, what are the process to conduct, or what are the actually sequence to manage the human resource of organization. Then we will see the importance of human resource management, like why it is important for any organization to manage the human resource. So we'll look out for the importance. Then we will see the role, the changing role of human resource management in current scenario from the previous one. So the first part deals with the introduction one. So when I talk about the human resource management, it is to manage the current scenario, the number of people that you actually have in your organization. Many a times you can know that the number of people that there are in my organization is not as per the requirement of the work that I am conducting in my company. So at that particular time, you would be in a requirement to have more number of people. So ultimately, you will have to go for the recruitment, selection, and after recruitment and selection, you will have to conduct the training and development, and likewise the other processes that is important in the organization. The next is the most important thing in any of the organization is you will always have to deal with different kind of a changing environment of internal or maybe external environment, due to which you will always have to go under this scenario that you will have to manage the human resource of the organization. So first we'll start by looking into the meaning of human resource management in any organization. So according to Michael Jusius, he stated that when we talk about human resource management, it actually deals with managing different kind of processes, different kind of things in the organization. Now when I tell different kind of things, it means planning, organizing, directing, procuring, maintaining, and utilizing the current human resources, as well as planning for the requirement of futuristic plans for the organization. So basically human resource management means any activity that requires in organization to manage your current need of the human resource, as well as to determine that what kind of need could be there in future plans. The next topic deals with the evaluation of personal function into human resource management. So basically, initially when we talk about human resource management, there was no such concept of human resource management itself. It has been evolved over a period of time. So initially, when the organization started up, when actually there was a place where some of the people come together and start working, there was no such concept of human resource management. There was the concept called personal management, and later on it has converted their phases, it had converted their sequence, and then today, at today's time, when we talk about managing the personnel of the organization, we use this term human resource management. So when we talk about evaluation, there are certain phases which has come across, and then finally at the end result we have got human resource management as an end product. So initially the first concept that started the whole scenario or the personal function was commodity concept. So when we talk about commodity concept, initially in every organization wherever the working was conducted, wherever the human was working in certain scenario, they were merely concluded as a commodity, as a person. They were not treated as a manly, they were not treated as an humanly, they were only seen as in commodity, as in thing which is to be used to complete your work. And then the wages, all the salaries and all the things that you pay to employ was as per the requirement of any organization. So commodity concept is a kind of concept where the human was treated as merely a commodity, a thing. He was not treated as a human, and his requirement was not at all considered in the organization. Organization always kept first the priority of the organization's objective, and then they concluded that organization, the human resource of the organization. So the first and most important concept is commodity concept, which deals with the which deals with the concept that the people, the management of any organization, takes the human resource of that organization as merely a commodity. Then the second concept deals with the production concept. Now there was a change in whole process. Initially the work was manually done by the human or the personnel of the organization. Later on, when the advancement took place, when the work was done with the help of processes of manufacturing, when the machinery was merely used to conduct the work in the organization, now they started with this kind of concept where the work was given more importance, where the work was divided into small kind of frictions, and then it was delegated to the employee of the organization. So here production concept means the work of the organization, because of that transition of manual work into the manufacturing processes, now the work was divided into some important parts, and then the allocation of work was done to the human resource of the organization. Now there were certain advantages of this phase, as well as there were certain disadvantages also. Now when we talk about this advantages, the advantage was that you were already aware that what kind of work you are allotted, what kind of work is expected from you, and how you could conduct that work. But after a period of time, when you conclude or when you do the same kind of work every day, it become little monotonous for the human resource of the organization. And that is why this monotonous work or this division of small frictions somehow created the limitation, and that is why there was requirement of changes in certain concept. And on the other hand, if we talk about the limitation again, then the management was not taking care of the safety measurement which the company should undermine, which the company should take for the safety purpose of the organization's employee. So there was a requirement for more kind of advancement in this concept, and later on the goodwill concept came into the picture. So this is a kind of concept where, because of this, that negligence of safety measures which the company could have taken for assuring the safe environment, the safe working environment for human resources, was not given that much importance. And that is why when the employees of the organization saw that the importance of their health, the importance of their need is being neglected by the organization, so they came up with this new concept where the workers itself join the hands with each other and they start forming the unions. Ultimately, goodwill concept deals with a formation of a group which is known as union. Now they themselves started for fighting for their own sake of needs. So trade union here, they deals with the process where we can say that they start raising their voice for their needs, and ultimately collective bargaining started taking place over there. And this collective bargaining, the whole phase, this in that particularly collective bargaining processes, they talk about their safety requirements, they talk about the requirements of their first aid boxes, or maybe lunch facilities, maybe room facilities for some rest, or for maybe for mental stress outs. If you feel that your work is monotonous, every time you have to do same kind of work, or everywhere you have to deal with work only, after a period of time you feel stressed out. So for that you also want a kind of rest rooms and etc. So this were the kind of basic requirements with, till now, till this concept, the management was neglecting. So in goodwill concept, this people, the worker of the organization, they join hand with each other, and they now start working for the activities which actually they want to be fulfilled by the company. Then the next phase came into picture, that was paternalistic concept. Now when the management realizes that joining hands with each other, and because of that joining of hands with each other, the workers was now more stronger than ever before, because of the collective bargaining processes, and because uh, of that whole requirement where the management was neglecting the needs of the workers, and where workers itself was in a need to take a stand, so that management could focus on the requirement fulfillment. Paternalistic concept is a kind of concept where the management now decided to deal in a more human manner to the employees of the organization. Before this, they were not given that much important. They were just treated, as I already stated, as a commodity, as an asset, as an thing. But now, because they also have now certain rights, they were the part of the unions, they have the collective bargaining power, they were having the strength of working in the group. So ultimately they were more in a strength, they were having a kind of power where they can speak up for themselves. And because of this concept, the management decoded that if we will not, if now also if we'll not treat the people that they deserve to be treated, maybe now this will create a negative impact toward the management of the organization. And now they started to treat in a more human manner. Now they recognizes that yes, there is a need for safety measures, there is a requirement of human resource of the organization which should be fulfilled by the management. And then they start considering this requirement, and they start fulfilling the requirements of human resource of the organization. The next phase was about humanitarian concept. Now after recognizing that yes, the employee of the organization is very much important for the working and for the smooth working of the organization, now they also start focusing more on human relationship. This concept was given by Alton Mayo with the help of an experiment called Hawthorne experiment. Now Alton Mayo was a person who during 1930s or 1940s, with the help of his experiment, shows that the productivity of employee of any organization increases if we have good kind of relationship with the employees, if we give importance to their requirement in the organization. So in the beginning of this concept, they start a movement where they stated that yes, they believe that human resource is important for the organization, and likewise they started to give good support to the human resources of the organization. They also start to have the concern, the needs, the requirements of the organization's personals. And now they also decoded this thing that every organization, every employee who is working at certain places have a need called social need. It is also stated by Maslow that every human have a certain kind of requirement, which goes from basic requirements to self actualization, where social need, that is a need for affiliation, a requirement to have informal relationship at your workplace, is necessary. So humanitarian concept deals with the good relationship of management and the human resource of the organization, where they give importance to the employee of the organization, and also uh, 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 see that all the requirements of the human resources of the company should be into the focus and should be fulfilled as and when required. Then ultimately we draw up this concept called human resource. So you, as you see, there was the number of concept, there was number of phases, and then we ultimately came to the human resource concept. A lot of advantages, lot of limitations of different kind of concept all together concluded, and we came up with a new kind of concept called human resources concept. Now there are certain kind of things that is to be dealt when we call a kind of concept called human resources. Now here every organization have now actually started to accept the human resources as they are. Because when I say as they are, every organization have number of individuals that belongs to different kind of caste, that have different kind of aura, that speak different languages, that come from different boundaries of different states, or boundaries of different countries, and etc. But the management should always consider this thing, that they should accept the person as they are. Every person is unique, so they should try to find out that what capabilities of human resources, what kind of characteristics, and what kind of trait could be used to fulfill the work in the organization. And if there is any deficiency in the human resources of the organization, how could you give them training, how could you plan for learning and development sessions, so that the gap that you have, that the requirement, that you have the requirement from your employee of the organization, and that the employee is lacking, could somehow been gapped on, that somehow been, can be overbreached with the help of training and developmental sessions. So the human resource concept deals with establishing the objective. Now when the organization is deciding any of the objective on which the human resources have to work, the first and most important part is they should always encourage the participation of employees of your organization. Because when you allow them to participate in decision making process, when you encourage their point of view, when you show them the respect they want, when you recognize the good ideas, the good point of view of your employees in the organization, they will support you for the fulfillment of your objective. So human resource concept says that whenever the objective is been set, you should always try to encourage more and more participation from your human resources, because if they are participating in any of the processes, it will ensure their participation for the fulfillment of that objective itself. The second point is capable. So most of the employees are capable of self realization, they have self control, they know in which particular direction they should go, they have more kind of innovative ideas and etc. So here you just have to make them more capable, so that they could realize their inner traits, their capabilities, or maybe their competencies. So ultimately human resource concept deals for decoding the kind of strength you as an individual has in yourself. Then third is to give them the healthy environment towards achieving the objective of the organization. If there is any basic requirement for the fulfillment of whatever objective you have pre-decided, then it is the part of management to make that resources available as and when required for the fulfillment of the objective of organization. So that creates ultimately a healthy environment, where if there when if you have any kind of problem, you can directly go to the management, you can directly talk to them that whatever objective we have decided, I have so and so kind of problem. Then if the management shows you the support, you ultimately will increase your efficiency to fulfill their objective. And then the fourth point relates to the potential. Now after dividing the work, after giving certain kind of roles to the employee, every organization has this kind of concept where people itself don't know about their potential. But if you are trusted, if certain kind of work is allocated with you, then ultimately it will be helpful for you to discover your own potential level. As and when you are successful to fulfill the objective of the organization, you will have the work satisfaction. So ultimately organization will have to help you to find out the potential in you, and then it will help you to improvise your work satisfaction. So that was about the concept of human resource management. Ultimately, there were different kind of phases with the help of which we directly came to human resource concept. And in the current era, we deal up with the human resource kind of a concept where number of work allocation is done, where participation is required, where for the smooth functioning of the organization, participation is required, and if there is any problem, availability of resources is required, and likewise. So that is human resource management concept. Now we will start with the new topic called Basics of Human Resource Management, HR Planning and Office Organization. So we'll study with the help of N diagram. This is a table which is clearly differentiating the personal management and human resource management. As I already stated that initially there was no such a term called human resource management. There was this term called personnel management. But now with the help of this concept and with the help of this different kind of phases, we are here with the term called human resource management. So first is nature. So when we talk about nature, both this concept has different kind of nature. Personal management is a kind of process where the decision is on the reactive kind of a basis. Reactive basis means personal management was a kind of concept where when actually something is being done, when actually the objective has been fulfilled, where actually the objective is being done, and then they will see that was there any problem, and if there was problem, for the next session they can improvise the plan, but it is not actually implementable always. So here comes human resource management nature, where the decision that is to be taken is a proactive kind of a decision, where you think about a short term as well as the long term kind of a objective, and then you find out certain things that could impact your fulfillment of the objective, and then you always go for search of kind of decisions that would be helpful for you to manage the unpredictable situation in the future. So first, nature means the personal management, it deals with the reactive kind of a decision making process, anything that is already being done, and then you are looking into the matter and making new kind of, even you are having a thought that we should not have done that kind of decision, or maybe we could follow different kind of processes. But human resource management have different kind of objectives, have different kind of predictability for unforeseen future. So here it is proactive in nature. Before even conducting any processes, we come up with different kind of plans and procedures that will help you out for the implementation and smooth functioning of your objective plan. Then the second point is about focus. So ultimately, personal management focus is on activities like hiring, training, compensation, and etc. So personal management deals with the minor kind of an activity of the organization, while when we talk about human resource management, it means focus is on number of activities like what kind of responsibility should be delegated to whom, and any managerial activity, so planning, directing, or authority distribution, responsibility distribution, power distribution in the organization, all such kind of activities where actually there is a requirement to manage certain kind of roles in the organization, that kind of divisions is being taken care under human resource management concept. So personal management deals with hiring, training, and compensation kind of an concept, while human resource management deals with the authority delegation or the responsibility delegation, or about making it clear that what is expected out of you, what kind of duties you should play in the organization for the fulfillment of a objective, and likewise. Then third part comes where it clearly shows about the relationship between employee and management. So personal management, when we talk about personal management, there was strict regulation already made. So here in personal management, you just have to define a clear role, clear rules, clear procedures, and there is no flexibility allowed in personal management. So any and everything that is being said to you, that is being delegated to you, you just merely have to follow it. That is known as personal management. But when we talk about human resource management, they encourage flexibility. human resource management always ended up by always encouraging and always motivating, always inspiring the employee for their improvisation in performances. So during the whole process of actually doing the work, there will be some observers, there would be some supervisors who would be always helping you out, who would be continuously giving you feedback, so that if and when required you can make certain changes in the process, so that the objective could be fulfilled properly. Then fourth point is about basic premises. So when we talk about personal management, the basic premises is to increase the morale of the organization. They ultimately believe that if the employee of any organization has the job satisfaction, if he is uh, if he is willingly doing the job, and if he is happy from whatever work is being allocated to the employee, ultimately his morale would be increased. That is what personal management believes. But when we talk about human resource management, they believe that if the employees do the work in a better manner, if they perform the work in a better manner, that will help the employees to have the satisfaction. Many a time it happens to us also, that if you are doing your work properly, ethically, as per the set rules, as per the standardized procedure, you feel satisfied from the work. But personal management don't believe in that fact. They believe that if you are motivated enough, if you have that urge of doing the work, then and then only you would have that kind of moral to do the kind of work in the organization. Then comes the next point, which is about types of activities. So in personal management, activities which is related to the administrative function of the organization, that is rewards or maybe job evaluation and etc., is dealt with personal management. While when we talk about human resource management, it deals uh, it deals with the kind of activity like in organization, what kind of developmental plan should be made, what kind of activities should be introduced, so that the skill, so that the development, and so that the characteristics of any employee could be polished out. So human resource development, human resource management focuses more on polishing out your skills and polishing out the trait of an human resource in the organization, where all the kind of work which deals with the administrative function is under the personal management function. And then last point is about emphasizes. So personal management emphasizes more on monetary and traditional kind of an reward system. They always try to design job simplification, they try to focus on job rotation, they always try to focus on improvisation of performance of the employee in the organization. While if we talk about human resource management, their more emphasis is put on autonomous work. Their emphasis is put on giving challenge kind of work to the employees, giving the kind of work where they could see that whether they are applicable to do the kind of work the organization is expecting out of them or not, and designing a kind of work where the employee could bring out their creativity, or maybe bring out the innovative idea that the employee could have in themselves. So there was a clear differentiation between the personal management and human resource management. So basically, because of lot of advantages of human resource management, it is more practical to use human resource management in current scenario. So that was about the differentiation between personal management and human resource management. Now we'll start with the new topic called objectives of human resource management. So there are number of objectives due to which the organization will always willingly try or voluntarily try to manage the human resource of the organization, because as we already saw, that every organization has number of people with different kind of capabilities and different kind of trait. But to tackle out that trait, to see what kind of potential the human resources have, and how as a management you can use their skills, how as a management you can use their capabilities in the organization, is also a kind of task for the management. So for that, there are number of objectives which helps you out to make a plan, so that you can effectively and efficiently manage the human resources of your organization. So first is about societal objective. Now, when I talk about societal objective, it deals about how you can reduce the negative impact of any organization or any company to the society. Now, we as an management part, when we think, we as an organization always use the resources of society. We use the location, we use the roads, we use the regional area. Sometimes we also dump the wastage that is coming out of the organization. So likewise, ultimately we are using a lot of resources from the society itself. So it's an responsibility of organization to also repay the same to the society for their growth, for their development of the location, for the development of ultimately the state and ultimately the nation of that boundary. So societal objective deals with the fact that you should try to impact less and less negative in a negative manner to the society. You should try to frame such plans which will help the society for their growth and development, not to dump the wastage. No, we will have to, as in management, will have to make sure that we do not degrade the resources that we are using, we do not degrade the place that we are using, and we should always try to accept the thing as it is and try to use the resources, because every resources is not in a full capacity manner. You always will have a scare kind of resources. So you'll have to make sure as a management that you use the resources in a full optimistically manner. So when I say optimistically manner, that means reduction of wastage and using the resources at its fullest possible manner. Then whether it is resources that deals with the raw material, the asset of the organization, or maybe the layout, the location, or whether it is related to human resources. Then the second point is organizational objective. So when we talk about organization objective, the main objective of the organization is to find out the right person for the right position at a right place of a time. So to deal up with this particularly thing, human resource management would help you out to detect that whether your organization has enough number of employees, whether the requirement of employee or the skills requirement is fulfilled by the internal staff only, or whether you should go for recruitment, whether you would have to invite the external people, so that the work of the organization or the objective of the organization could be fulfilled. So organization objective means where you can search out for the right person, for the right position at a right place of a time in the organization. So second objective is organization objective. Then third one is functional objective. So functional objective is where you can alter the requirement of your human resources as per the change in the situation of organization. So because of change in internal and external environment of the organization, there is always requirement there that the human resources that was required in the organization, they would be always change after a certain period of time. For example, before every work was done manually, but now because of addition of technology, because of increasing use of technology, now the requirement of organization is such that the person should have a kind of trait where he or she knows both the manually work as well as he or she could have enough knowledge to use the technical part if there is an requirement of having the knowledge of technology in the organization. So functional objective means where you can decode that if any changes is occurred in the organization, and if there is now new requirement in the organization, you will have to search out in your organization, and you will have to go for this function where we have to decode, where we have to search out for the right person from the organization, and then do the proper allocation of work in the organization. Then come the fourth objective called personal objective. Now, whenever the objective of the organization is being decided, as I already stated, participation would always create a positive impact. So here, when the objective of organization is being made, or when any changes in the organization is being going through, the management should always focus that the personal objective of individual should be done. If I as a person has certain individual objective and the work allocation that is being given to me is in such a manner that my personal objective would also be fulfilled, in that particular situation, the way I will work would be different in comparison to that situation where my personal objective has nothing to do with the organization's objective. So that is all for today. So today we basically studied about various kind of concept about how the organizations have, with the help of different kind of phases, have developed, and how that development of different phases have now converted into human resource management practices. Then we saw about the differentiation between the personnel management and human resource management, and we also saw that there are number of advantages that is linked with the human resource management, and that is why you should always go for implementing the human resource management in the organization. And then we saw some of the objectives of human resource management, that why it is important for organization to follow the human resource management techniques and skills to fulfill the current objective of the organization. So I hope you are clear with all the topics that we have concluded today. So that's it. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next session again. Bye. Have a nice day.
स्वाध्यायः परमः